But in a fight, you cannot be up here.
But I just don't understand how you can fight without thinking.
Observe. You see? Mikey does not think.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Alright, Shalom. First and foremost, I give all praises and glory to Yahweh Bashem Yahushai, Bashem Kodash. Double honors to the elders and apostles of GMS who were well. Peace and salutation to the Lake Aki on the four corners, pushing his truth and sincerity. Peace be unto you and Shalom. I'm doing this lesson about overthinking and overanalyzing. And it is something that all of us do from time to time. It's some of us that do it more than others, some of us do it less than others. But this is more so towards the ones who have a severe problem with overthinking and overanalyzing. And I want to show an extended clip about the horrors of what overthinking and overanalyzing can do to you. Now, it's beautiful that we have the scriptures. Those who don't have the scriptures and overthinking, overanalyzing, don't have that moral compass because they done outthought themselves. Those are guys that can be bug outs, like extreme bug outs, and they have found a way to justify in their mind the actions that they're doing simply by just thinking with their mind, thinking with their. This is Jeremiah 17:9. The heart is deceitful above all things and desperately wicked. Who can know it? This is why it's not good to talk from the heart all the time, because your heart is wicked. You got that internal dialogue that's going on, and you have to filter what you say from that wicked heart before you say it verbally. So when you just speaking from the heart all the time and not filtering anything, you're going to be speaking a lot of evil. So you want to really watch what you say. You really got to know how to hold your tongue. The tongue is very, very powerful. And it also goes into pride, because some people talk from the heart and they say something that's fucked up and that's off, but because they're so pride and so proudful, they don't regret or repent from saying what they said. So they stand by that statement when that demon was on them. So that demon done hopped on them. They didn't filter their words, and they done said something, and now all of a sudden they want to stand by that statement because they said it. I'm standing by it. So there's no I'm sorry, there's no salakia, there's none of that. So the heart is deceitfully is greatly wicked. So since your heart is desperately wicked, which is your mind and your thoughts, you want your thoughts to be in the scriptures. So you want to think like Yahushai would think. What would Yahushai do? WWYD. What would Yahushai do? You know, he's a shepherd. We follow the lamb. So you let him think for you. And you don't have to worry about saying anything evil. But you got to learn what the good shepherd is teaching. And if you truly learn, you don't have to worry about filtering your words, because they're not your words, they're not your thoughts. So the first step with helping yourself with overthinking, overanalyzing, is knowing that your heart, which is your mind, is desperately wicked. Seriously sit down and think, are your thoughts aligning with the scriptures? If they're not, you're overthinking, you're overanalyzing it. But how do you know if your thoughts align with the scriptures? You would have to actually read the scriptures to know. If all you did was eat half of the roll and you didn't eat the whole roll, you can't measure how your thoughts align with the scriptures. Can you measure how your thoughts align with Proverbs Ecclesiasticus, if you don't really study them, all you do is study Revelations. Well, to examine yourself and to see if what you're saying aligns with the scriptures, you got to eat the whole roll. This is Ezekiel chapter 3, verse 1. Moreover, he said unto me, Son of man, eat that thou findest. Eat this roll and go speak unto the house of Israel. So the roll is speaking about the scriptures. Supposed to eat it, meaning consume it, understand it. It's supposed to be inside your belly. Yahweh Shai said, out of thy belly shall flow rivers of living water. The belly represents your mind. So you're supposed to digest this word, let it sink into your mind. That's how you're going to think. You're going to think according to what the scripture says, but you must know the scriptures and what the scriptures say. And it comes with diligently studying. See, the world teaches you to overthink and overanalyze and make guesses. Taking guesses is not good. We're conditioned to guess. They say in school, if you don't know something, give an educated guess. When you talk, you're supposed to speak about what you know, not what you don't know or what you think. You're supposed to talk about what you know. And if you don't know it, you're supposed to be quiet. It is the school system that teaches you that. You go to school, you take tests. And what do they do with those tests? You get multiple choices. And if you don't know the answer, what does the teacher tell you to do? Take a guess. You can't miss it. You can't go wrong, or basically you have a better chance of getting it right if you simply just guess. So you're conditioned to guess. Is it A, B, C, or D? You don't know. You just randomly just circling stuff. Is such and such true or false? You don't know. You're just circling true or false. That's not how you're supposed to learn. You're supposed to learn and you're supposed to speak about what you know. I'm going to play this clip real quick.
CBS presents this program in color.
I'm Kimmy Hayes. I'm from North Carolina. I'm Kimmy Hayes. I'm from North Carolina in Chicago.
You're not from North Carolina, are you? Okay.
I'm Kimmy Hayes. I'm from Chicago. Welcome to Kids Say the Darndest Things.
It's a special edition of Kids Say the Darndest Things on the road in Chicago.
No telling what, no telling when, never a dull moment. You think you know, they surprise you again, saying what they wanna. They're gone tomorrow, right here today. Let's hear what they have to say. Kids say, kids say, kids say. Oh, those magical things that come from the heart. Kids say the darndest things. Kids always say what they wanna.
It's now time for Kaz and the Kid. Kemet Hayes is not a professional actor and hasn't been told what to say. And as you'll see, he's living proof that there's nothing quite like a child's imagination. Now keep in mind, Kemet is only 5 years old.
Hopefully you can see where I'm going at with this clip. But kids, when you first come into this thing, you're babes. Children don't know anything. First thing they learn is to walk. They learn to actually say a few words. Actually, that's probably one of the first things they learned is say a few words. They don't understand what they're saying, but they say a few words. And it's their desire to relate and to communicate and make relationships with adults and people is why they just say whatever the hell they're thinking on their mind to try to just fit in. And sometimes we do that in life. As we get older, we don't know anything about something. We're pretending like we know about it because we want to join in the conversation. We don't want to feel left out. So we're just saying all types of crazy, stupid stuff. And right there, that is overthinking. You're saying stuff that makes no sense.
I got a cut. See it?
Yup.
What do you do for that?
You gotta put a little Neosporin on it. And then put a bandage over it. Then it'll go away.
Where does it go?
And so far, right now, the kid is on point with what he's actually answering. He was asked a question. He's actually answering fairly pretty good. But watch when he responds and he keeps talking, keeps thinking. He's thinking on the spot and trying to answer a question that he don't know the answer to and just making stuff up.
It go down here in your blood.
And where does it go?
Then it'll go in another country.
Did you have one of these?
Yup.
Where was it?
It was one of them was on right here,
Uh-huh.
and then one of them was on my finger.
What country do you think mine is going to go to?
China.
And where did this one go?
Let me see. Italy.
Italy.
Yeah.
Okay. Can you speak Italian?
Like this. Mamma mia. Eat the meat.
I'm afraid to ask the second country.
So that is a type of overthinking. You're thinking to just try to say and create and make stuff up. But then there's another type of overthinking, which can be paralyzing, which is what you saw in the first clip where Donatello
But in a fight,
is trying to figure out how do you think without fighting.
up here.
But I just don't understand
gotta have
how
that
you
feel.
can fight without thinking.
That's the answer. You gotta have feel. You gotta feel it. You know, Donatello, characteristics of him, he's very, very smart, but he has a tendency to rely too much on his intelligence and not his feel, his intuition. Michelangelo, is the opposite. He doesn't think. So he relies on instincts. So that's one of his negative qualities is he doesn't think. But he has good qualities, and that was one of them. He has a good natural feel to things. And that's what Master Splinter was trying to display to him. So that's another type of overthinking, that in the moment overthinking. You know, you're in the moment and thinking too much will be detrimental. But now we're going to get into another type of overthinking, which is the philosophy and the wine, which can be very, very detrimental to you. That overthinking, thinking too much, And they're going to show and display how bad overthinking and asking a bunch of questions can be bad. The scripture talks about, avoid foolish questions. Yes, there's such thing as foolish questions. There are stupid questions. You got to avoid them. Because when you're thinking, essentially what you're doing is you're asking yourself questions in your head or in your mind, or you're writing them out. So you're asking yourself questions and you're trying to answer them yourself when you can't answer them. Every question you can't answer. There's some questions it just is. How do you measure fire? How hot is the sun? There's certain questions you do not need to know the answer to. Now I'm about to show this clip, and it's going to show you the dangers of overthinking.
You're a transplant surgeon, and you have 5 patients, each in desperate need of an organ transplant in order to survive. One needs a heart, one a lung, one a kidney, one a liver, and the 5th, a pancreas. And you have no organ donors. You are about to see them die. And then it occurs to you that in the next room, there's a healthy guy who came in for a checkup. And he's... You like that? And he's taking a nap. You could go in very quietly, yank out the 5 organs, that person would die. But you could save the 5. How many would do it? This is a course about justice, and we begin with a story. Suppose you're the driver of a trolley car, and your trolley car is hurtling down the track at 60 miles an hour, and at the end of the track, you notice 5 workers working on the track. You try to stop, but you can't. Your brakes don't work. You feel desperate because you know that if you crash into these 5 workers, they will all die. Let's assume you know that for sure. And so you feel helpless until you notice that there is, off to the right, a side track. And at the end of that track, there's 1 worker working on the track. Your steering wheel works, so you can turn the trolley car, if you want to, onto the side track, killing the 1, but sparing the 5. Here's our first question. What's the right thing to do? What would you do? Let's take a poll. How many would turn the trolley car onto the side track? Raise your hands. How many wouldn't? How many would go straight ahead? Keep your hands up, those of you who would go straight ahead. A handful of people would. The vast majority would turn. Let's hear first. Now we need to begin to investigate the reasons why you think it's the right thing to do. Let's begin with those in the majority who would turn to go onto the side track. Why would you do it? What would be your reason? Who's willing to volunteer a reason? Go ahead, stand up.
Because it can't be right to kill 5 people when you can only kill 1 person instead.
It wouldn't be right to kill 5 if you could kill 1 person instead. That's a good reason. That's a good reason. Who else? Does everybody agree with that reason? Go ahead.
Well, I was thinking it was the same reason on 9/11. We regard the people who flew the plane into the Pennsylvania field as heroes because they chose to kill the people in the plane and not kill more people in big buildings.
So the principle there was the same on 9/11. It's a tragic circumstance, but better to kill 1 and so that 5 can live? Is that the reason most of you had, those of you who would turn? Yes? Let's hear now from those in the minority, those who wouldn't turn. Yes?
Well, I think that's the same type of mentality that justifies genocide and totalitarianism. In order to save one type of race, you wipe out the other.
So what would you do in this case? You would, to avoid the horrors of genocide, you would crash into the 5 and kill them?
Presumably, yes.
You?
Yeah.
Okay, who else? That's a brave answer. Thank you. Let's consider another trolley car case and see whether those of you in the majority want to adhere to the principle, better that 1 should die so that 5 should live. This time you're not the driver of the trolley car, you're an onlooker. You're standing on a bridge overlooking a trolley car track. And down the track comes a trolley car. At the end of the track are 5 workers. The brakes don't work. The trolley car is about to careen into the 5 and kill them. And now, you're not the driver. You really feel helpless until you notice, standing next to you, leaning over the bridge, is a very fat man. And you could give him a shove. He would fall over the bridge, onto the track, right in the way of the trolley car. He would die, but he would spare the 5. Now, how many would push the fat man over the bridge? Raise your hand. How many wouldn't? Most people wouldn't. Here's the obvious question. What became of the principle? Better to save 5 lives even if it means sacrificing 1. What became of the principle that almost everyone endorsed in the first case? I need to hear from someone who was in the majority in both cases. How do you explain the difference between the two? Yes?
The second one, I guess, involves an active choice of pushing the person down, which I guess that person himself would otherwise not have been involved in this situation at all. And so to choose on his behalf, I guess, to involve him in something that he otherwise would have escaped is, I guess, more than what you have in the first case, where the 3 parties, the driver and the 2 sets of workers are already, I guess, in the situation.
But the guy working, the one on the track off to the side, he didn't choose to sacrifice his life any more than the fat man did he?
That's true, but he was on the tracks, and you...
This guy was on the bridge. Go ahead, you can come back if you want. All right, it's a hard question. All right, you did well. You did very well. It's a hard question. Who else can find a way of reconciling the reaction of the majority in these two cases. Yes?
Well, I guess in the first case where you have the one worker and the five, it's choice between those two, and you have to make a certain choice, and people are going to die because of the trolley car, not necessarily because of your direct actions. The trolley car is a runaway thing, and you're making a split-second choice, whereas pushing the fat man over is an actual act of murder on your part. You have control over that, whereas you may not have control over the trolley car. So I think it's a slightly different situation.
All right, who has a reply?
See all these questions that he's asking? Overthinking, overanalyzing. Now, if you know the scriptures, you will know the answer to that, because your thoughts will be aligning with the scriptures. You know, you're not supposed to make cuttings to the flesh, so you're not supposed to be doing surgery. So you wouldn't be even thinking about a transplant. And among some other scriptures. But see how easy it is to overthink and overanalyze?
No, that's good. Who has a way, who wants to reply? Is that a way out of this?
I don't think that's a very good reason, because you choose to, it's either way you have to choose who dies, because you either choose to turn and kill the person, which is an active conscious thought to turn, or you choose to push the fat man over, which is also an active conscious action. So either way you're making a choice.
Do you want to reply?
Well, I'm not really sure that that's the case. It just still seems kind of different, the act of actually pushing someone over onto the tracks and killing him. You are actually killing him yourself.
You're pushing him with your own hands.
You're pushing him. And that's
Right.
different than steering something that is going to cause death into another. You know, it doesn't
good.
really sound right saying it now.
No, it's good.
But I'm up here.
It's good. What's your name?
Andrew.
Andrew, let me ask you this question, Andrew.
Yes.
Suppose standing on the bridge next to the fat man, I didn't have to push him. Suppose he were standing over a trap door that I could open by turning a steering wheel like that. Would you turn?
For some reason, that still just seems more wrong.
Right?
I mean, maybe if you accidentally leaned into the steering wheel or something like that. But, or say that the car is hurtling towards a switch that will drop the trap. Then I could agree with that.
Fair enough. It still seems wrong in a way that it doesn't seem wrong in the first case to turn, you say.
And in another way, I mean, in the first situation, you're involved directly with the situation. In the second one, you're an onlooker as well.
All right.
So you have the choice of becoming involved or not by pushing the fat man.
Let's forget for the moment about this case. That's good. Let's imagine a different case. This time you're a doctor in an emergency room, and 6 patients come to you. They've been in a terrible trolley car wreck. 5 of them sustained moderate injuries. 1 is severely injured. You could spend all day caring for the 1 severely injured victim, but in that time the 5 would die. Or you could look after the 5, restore them to health, but during that time the 1 severely injured person would die. How many would save the 5? Now is the doctor. How many would save the 1? Very few people. Just a handful of people. Same reason, I assume. 1 life versus 5? Now consider another doctor case. This time you're a transplant surgeon, and you have 5 patients, each in desperate need of an organ transplant in order to survive. 1 needs a heart, 1 a lung, 1 a kidney, 1 a liver, and the 5th a pancreas. And you have no organ donors. You are about to see them die. And then it occurs to you that in the next room, there's a healthy guy who came in for a checkup. And he's... You like that? And he's taking a nap. You could go in very quietly, yank out the 5 organs, that person would die, but you could save the 5. How many would do it?
And that, my friend, is overthinking. That's that strong wine. That's what they was doing in ancient Greece and ancient Rome. You had those philosophers. All got their different philosophy. What do they think about this? What do they think about that? And that's all that's going on. Is a whole bunch of philosophizing when you're actually overthinking and overanalyzing. Just keep it simple. You know, on that note, I want to give all praises and glory to Yahweh Bashem Yahushai, Bashem Kakwadash. Double honors to the elders of GMS who rule well. Peace and salutations to the King of the Four Corners, pushing truth and sincerity. Peace be unto you and Shalom.